quick shower, ate, chugged a double shot. Double shots, by the way, are pretty great. Um, if you haven't had a double shot, you probably are doing energy drinks wrong. Um, double shots have a pretty good. They don't taste awful. They don't taste that awful way that energy drinks usually do. Like Monsters and Rockstars, they don't have that like that very clear, like acidic, burning away your insides feeling. It's more like a coffee flavor that you're getting out of it. But yeah, highly recommend double shots. And I'm not shilling because I'm sponsored. I'm shilling because I love that shit. I do have a monster right next to me though. If you like bigger drinks that last a little bit longer, you can get the double shot espresso or the double shot energy drinks, which are bigger. They're about the same size as a monster, and I guess they're okay. I feel like they have less caffeine in them for their size. I think it's probably because there's more milk and whatever else in there, diluting the actual liquids. All right, let me turn this shit up. Let's see. We were here already. Oh, to recap this game. Let's see. What? Jeez, I was gonna say let's recap this game, but it's been a few days since I last streamed this, and I've already forgotten what the fuck happened. So let me try and remember. I've got nothing. We'll figure it out as we go along. Sorry, whatever for. I keep saying how I'm gonna help you, but instead I just keep putting you in danger. Achi, no, if you hadn't been with me, I'm sure I'd already be dead. No, Achi hurried to cut her off before she could finish. Don't go there, please. Did I read this already? I feel like I've seen the scene already. But I don't remember being at the jump point. He sighed, then spoke again more quietly. I just want to help you. Clenching a fist, he looked up at the sky. A tiny sliver of blue was visible through the narrow gap between the buildings. Hitomi hung her head. Honestly, I can hardly believe how much you've done for me. I do appreciate it, but still, the lengths you've gone to. Achi looked at his feet, then drew himself up. Well, I admit it's not just because of some gut instinct, or your love for the environment, he said. There's another reason I'm doing this. There is? Achi paused, searching for the right words. Oh, look at this dramatic scene. This dramatic pose. I've got a little sister. Her name's Suzune. She's cute and smart, kind of the exact opposite of me, you know? His voice took on an uncharacteristic solemnity. But she's got a weak heart, so she's in the hospital. Oh, the music's kicking in. Yo, you hear this? That's Sting. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But what does that have to do with wanting to help me? Back when Suzune was first admitted, I'd go and visit her every day. But she... Oh, I got copyright struck on YouTube for uploading a VOD. Because I guess they're using copyrighted music in this game. So 30 seconds of a video got claimed, and now there's ads. Or I think I removed the song in that video, but it did get claimed and there were ads on it for a little bit. Achi, you don't need to come visit me every day, you know. The quiet hospital room made Suzune's voice sound all the more frail. What are you talking about, Achi said. You know I'm worried about you. I'll be fine on my own. Really. Achi had heard that line before. The more she insisted she was fine, though, the more reluctant he was to leave her. Besides, aren't you the amazing guy who helps hold Shibuya together? They need you out there. Achi didn't know how to respond to that. Much as it was flattering to think he played some important role, he was really just hanging out and goofing off with his pals. It certainly wasn't anything for a sister to be proud of. I'd rather you spent your energy helping people who need it more than me. What do you mean, people who need the help more? Who could possibly need help right now more than you? Achi scratched his head in confusion, and his sister gave him a weak, tiny smile. You'll figure it out, she said. I'm sure they'll find you soon enough. But I'm gonna be here with you. I'll be fine. Suzune's face was pale, but her tone was firm. My big brother is gonna be out there, doing his best to help people. That's what makes me happy. That's what keeps me going. Her voice was clear and unwavering, as if to head off his rebuttal. Alright, Achi said with a reluctant sigh. So then I guess, like, I'll just go out there and help people who are in trouble? Satisfied, Suzune smiled. Thank you. And can you promise me one more thing? Of course. Anything you like. He thumped himself on the chest. If you're gonna help someone, make sure you see it all the way through to the end. Okay? Okay. No calling it quits partway through, yeah? You got it. Whoops. I just worry, Suzune said. I know you have a tendency to lose interest in things. Look, don't sweat it. I swear I won't give up on this. Pinky promise? He stuck out his pinky finger, but I want you to promise me something in return. Promise me you won't let this thing beat you. Aw, that's sweet. That's sweet. Suzune hooked her little finger around her brother's, her sad smile fragile as glass. This is some anime shit, man. That's some good stuff. So there you have it, Achi said. Kind of a rubbish story, I know. Not very funny. So your sister's heart condition, it's pretty bad? Achi nodded. You know, she called me amazing. There's nothing amazing about me. Suzune, she's the amazing one. She's been in the hospital so long, in so much pain, but she never complains. All I do is hang out and goof off with my friends. He gave a shrug. But I just kept thinking about how happy she'd be if I really did help people. It had turned out that finding people in need hadn't been all that simple. The only helpful thing Achi had been able to think of was going around picking up trash. And that's why Suzune's idiot brother left SOS to be Shibuya's garbage man. That's pretty fucking sad, actually. Dang. Did your friends know, Hitomi asked? About your sister? I didn't tell them. I didn't want to pin this all on her being sick. Ah, I see. At least now Hitomi understood what the fight with the local toughs had been about. The sound of approaching footsteps jerked them back into the present. Man, what the fuck? The man with the cane appeared at the end of the alley. He raised his gun. There was no time to flee. Achi quickly stepped in front of Hitomi. If you shoot us here, people are going to come running, he said. I'm guessing you don't want to get pegged for murder? The assassin didn't flinch. Stay out of my way, Achi. Jesus Christ. This time, there was no doubt. The gunman had spoken Achi's name loud and clear. How do you know who I am? The man stared at him through the sights of his gun. She has to die, Achi. It's for your own good. What? What does he mean? Hitomi whispered. Achi, what is he talking about? Achi's mind was a whirl. Things were coming at him too fast for him to process. I don't know this guy. Hitomi, please, you have to believe me. But... Hitomi took a doubtful step away from Achi. The assassin didn't miss his opening. He quickly aimed at her. Cut the crap, man. What do you mean killing her is for my own good? Once she's dead, you'll understand. Oh, shit. Yo, what the fuck? I know, right? The gunman's finger tightened on the trigger. Is it a bad end? No! That's the end of his story. Dude, I started this game up, and I just picked up where I left off last time. I had no idea it was going to take this fucking turn, dude. Holy crap. Also, thanks for the host, Kirby. Yeah, shut the fuck. I can't change how this game plays out. This guy's got a bad end. Shit. Okay, looks like I have to go here. Hang on. No. No. Okay. Let's look at this hint. I guess we'll just go to Osawa's story. Did I jump from here? Did I just not pick up his story? Okay, the rain won't let up. No matter how much time passes, it just won't stop. Ever since that day, the sound of raindrops has been burned into my mind. Such an awful, heart-rending sound, driving me to strip my life down to shadows. And yet, no matter what else I abandon, nothing will make the sound of rain stop. Okay. Pretty fucking edgy. This is 428 Shibuya Scramble. Or I think the Japanese version is in the blocked city Shibuya or something like that. Osawa stared at a postcard that was nestled into the final page of the photo album. He'd purchased it 2 years earlier while on a trip with Maria to the Middle East. Oh, whoops. Wrong button. Also, I think here I can check the bad endings. So I can check the hints. So if we go to this one. Okay, so I need to... So Minorikawa's ending. So Minorikawa did one of these things. He told him to stay somewhere else. Okay. The Middle East, usually used to indicate Iran, Afghanistan, and the region surrounding them, but in modern times, the term refers to part of southwestern Asia, excluding India and Afghanistan, and a section of northeastern Africa along the Mediterranean coast. In Japan, as well as the US, the term Middle East is often understood to refer to specifically those parts of the region with a strong Islamic influence. He'd mentioned that he was being sent there on business, and Maria had just blurted out, "I want to go with you." She'd recently developed an interest in the Middle East conflict, and apparently she had been yearning to see the area firsthand. This is the friction in the region between the Jewish people and the Arabs. Religious and historical context is well beyond scope of what could be elucidated here. His daughter's newfound curiosity had taken him aback. She had always tended to be quiet and self-contained. The clumsy conversations aboard the plane, the meals eaten together in awkward silence, it all felt like such a distant memory to Osawa now. So yeah, in this game you control 5 people. They have their own separate stories that kind of have their own intersecting parts, and decisions you make in one affect the events in other stories at certain points. And the bad ends will tell you what you need to change. They'll give you some hints. There's also like parts in the game where you can't continue until you reach a certain point in another story. So it's kind of like 999 and Virtue's Last Reward and Zero Time Dilemma, in that like you have to go back and forth between stories. Ma'am, I'm afraid I can't let you do that. He heard Kajiwara's voice outside the door. Why ever not? I'm just going out for a bit. The detective was arguing with Ai. Great. And just who was it who told me I should try to go about my life as normal, Osawa's wife sneered. Ma'am, please, how would you feel about being told to just sit around and wait? Okay, look, Nintendo Dogs is a good fucking game. It's a perfect game. There's nothing wrong with Nintendogs. Ai's angry shriek jerked Osawa to his feet. He hurried from the study to try to calm her down. Ma'am, please wait. You go back and play Nintendogs and tell me that it's not a perfect game. But by the time Osawa had made his way downstairs, his wife had already stormed outside, despite Kajiwara's attempts to stop her. Osawa doubted anything he could have said would have stopped Ai from leaving. Trying to physically keep her from going out would only have made for an even worse uproar. He was glad that at least it hadn't come to that. He was turning to head back to the study when Kajiwara caught his eye. Resigned, he headed down the stairs and bowed to the detective. Aww. Look at these guys. Any idea where she's going? Kajiwara asked. I mean, at a time like this? Osawa shook his head. I wouldn't know. I didn't think so. You know, your wife really is something else. Osawa arched an eyebrow. That is one way to describe her. A rather rude way, as a matter of fact. Oh, no offense intended. It's just that ever since Escape started, you've both been holed up in your own respective rooms. The more Kajiwara spoke, the more irritated Osawa became. What's your point? He demanded. I just mean, you haven't been having any, marital discourse. According to one survey, in roughly 6% of households, discourse between spouses is largely non-existent. Various reasons for this were offered by the couples in question. Many claimed that they were too tired to have the energy to talk, or stated we wind up fighting when we talk, or we have nothing to talk about. Mind your own business, Osawa snapped. Kajiwara dipped his head deferentially. The two of us not talking isn't a new thing anyhow, Osawa added. I have a policy of not having pointless conversations. Quite common for Kenji Osawa to make it through an entire day without having a single conversation. On many days he opens his mouth only to eat or brush his teeth. His current record is a streak of 14 consecutive days during which he didn't talk to anyone. Jeez, what a fucking crazy man. Huh. It didn't look as though Kajiwara quite understood. Microorganisms such as viruses don't have conversations, and yet, still, they continually propagate in order to survive. Thinking about viruses, Osawa was back in familiar territory. He felt a surge of confidence. Once you have a clear purpose, conversation is unnecessary. And do you have a clear purpose for the relationship with your wife, Mr. Osawa? Of course I do. To be a family. I don't know if you know what that means, Osawa. Arms crossed, Kajiwara struck a thoughtful pose. At least I learned one useful thing today, Mr. Osawa, namely that you don't like to have pointless conversations. It's a good thing to know. Kajiwara uncrossed his arms for a moment, then crossed them right back again, furrowing his brow. But see, that's funny. You seem to have a tendency to have pointless conversations with me, and because you keep coming to talk to me. Osawa saw red. You don't leave me much of a choice. Look at these guys! Awkwardly staring forward? Jeez, Tanaka poked his head out of the living room. Is something the matter, he asked. No. Osawa struggled to regain his calm. Perfect timing, actually. There's something I need to talk to you about. He turned back to Kajiwara. My apologies, detective, would you mind giving us some privacy? Look at that slow zoom. Kajiwara didn't move. Detective? Osawa gave the policeman a hard look and saw him crack a smile. Yes, what is it, Kajiwara said at last. Don't you play dumb with me. Give us some privacy. Is this a discussion I shouldn't overhear? Actually, yes, it's work-related. There are business matters I'd prefer to keep confidential. Ah, I see. Reluctantly getting to his feet, Kajiwara slipped away into the living room. Tanaka, Osawa began, about those emails. He stopped abruptly. Jesus Christ! What a creep. Kajiwara had reappeared in the living room door, staring right at them. What are you doing? Osawa demanded. Oh, should I not be watching? What a weirdo! Oh no, Osawa felt like he was about to burst a blood vessel. I mean, you never told me that I couldn't watch. Because it should be obvious. The detective made a scolded puppy face, then closed the living room door. Osawa let out a heavy sigh. He'd never been an extrovert, but he didn't recall human interaction being quite this draining. I feel you, man. I feel you, Osawa. I feel you. Anyway, sir, you were saying? Yes, about those emails. Something doesn't make sense. I don't understand how Mr. Makino was able to get the antiviral agent to anyone on the outside. Sharing an Akoshi Pharmaceuticals drug with external sources while it was under development required the approval of an executive committee that included Osawa himself. There should have been no way the antiviral could be sent out without his knowledge. Tanaka hesitated a few moments before responding. Are you aware of the strife between the company president and the chairman? Osawa shook his head. He was a researcher through and through, and factional rivalries held no interest for him whatsoever. Makino effectively leads the chairman's team, and the antiviral agent is their pet project. Despite being the executive officer in charge of the project, however, Makino still needs the president's approval to... You know what? Forget about that right now. What do we do about security? In theory, it was physically impossible to get the antiviral out of the lab without detection. Entry to the biohazard laboratory where it was kept required fingerprint authentication from both Osawa and Tanaka. This allows an individual scanning fingerprints, one part of biometrics, checking the veins in the palms of their... Oh, that's palm scanners and iris scanners. Yeah. This is like a really interesting game that it gives you a bunch of these factoids. I don't know if that's how it actually works, but if it is, that's pretty fucking cool. Without two of them there, nobody could even get into the storage facility. Oh, no. I wanted... Hold up. I meant to do this. Because a dangerous virus is also stored there, lab is protected by an ID checkpoint, and 3-tiered lock system that requires fingerprint authentication. Security guys are also posted outside, and yep, got it. Okay. Not important. Frick. I keep skipping. Tanaka followed his drift. Ah, yes, I see what you mean. Let's check the entry logs. Anyone who wanted to get inside had to present their ID card. Should be possible to check the computer logs to see if there have been any suspicious activity in the system. Already checked the logs, sir. There was no evidence of anything suspicious. Welcome check for ourselves, but if we're that worried. Nope, believe you. Yet the fact was that the antiviral had been used for clinical testing. Either Makino had taken it from the laboratory personally, or someone working on his orders had done so. But how? Was there really some way they could have bypassed lab security without anyone else knowing? Osawa couldn't think of how it would be possible. Good God! It was Kajiwara, and he looked stiff and pale. Something terrible has happened, he said. Visions of tragedy flooded Osawa's mind. Maria, is she... No, it's not that. What is it then, Osawa said, his voice trembling. Sir, I need you to stay calm. Osawa swallowed a lump in his throat. You see, the toilet's clogged. Not the toilet! No, anything but the toilet! Oh, I like how they give you like a... Plunger in hand, Osawa stabbed vigorously at the recalcitrant toilet bowl, struggling to loosen the unseen blockage. I like how like a plunger is a thing that you can get more info from. A cleaning/utility implement consisting of a soft, hemispherical rubber suction cup attached to the end of a dowel. By pressing the cup over the opening of a drain that has been clogged, one can apply suction pressure to jostle the blockage free. Makes a variety of sounds when used, such as glub, glork, schluck, slorp, sloop, and pop. Kajiwara was at his side, wiping up the floor with a rag. How did this even happen? The detective groaned. Are you kidding? I was hoping you could tell me that. The plunger sucked and slurped at the porcelain basin. This was a first for Osawa. He'd never tried to unclog a toilet before in his life. Think of it as a blessing in disguise, Mr. Osawa. What the hell are you talking about? What about this constitutes a blessing? I just meant that at least this happened before you needed to, do your business. Without the slightest hint of guile on his face, Kajiwara picked up his bucket and headed for the sink back in the washing area. Grumbling to himself, Osawa pumped the plunger over and over again. This was almost funny. Almost ridiculous, in fact. His daughter had been kidnapped, and he was stuck unclogging a toilet. He was quite possibly caught up in a major corporate conspiracy, and here he was, unclogging a toilet. Tanaka poked his head into the bathroom. Did you fix it yet? If you need to urinate, then use the restroom on the second floor. That's alright. Here's fine. Tanaka stepped in beside him and abruptly shut the bathroom. No! Now the two men were crammed together in a narrow lavatory. Hey, Osawa hissed. What the hell are you doing? Tanaka made eye contact with Osawa via the mirror. He spoke in a hushed voice. I've been waiting for a moment I could get you alone. I don't like this. What? Tanaka sidled around to face him, giving him an intense stare. I don't like this. I don't fucking like this. Sir, could you please be quiet for a moment? Tanaka had tears in the corners of his eyes. This'll only take a moment. I don't want to voice this. Osawa could feel the warm breath of his deputy whispering against his cheek. Tanaka reached for something inside his coat. Alright, do as you wish. Osawa closed his eyes. Are you sure you're ready for this? I'm not sure. This is all happening pretty fast. To be honest, I'm rather nervous. I understand, sir. I mean, now that I think of it, we do spend day in and day out in that lab together. I suppose this was bound to happen, sooner or later. Sir, could you please open your eyes? I'd like you to look at this. You'll have to forgive me. This is all a bit sudden. Please, sir, take a look. No, I can't. It's just the two of us. It's probably gonna shock you, I know, but please, just look. Is it really that shocking? Oh, yes, very. Now, please, open your eyes. Okay. No, I can't. Sir, trust me. This isn't easy for me either. Alright. Oh, my God. Oh, it's amazing. Bracing himself, Osawa opened his eyes. Tanaka thrust out his cell phone. Here, take a look at this. Huh? Osawa blinked bewildered, then refocused on the phone. He could never anticipate what he saw on the LCD screen. Keep out? What?